hey, over here. So we're not taking a look at those today, but today we're going to take a look at my revised top 3 free AmpSyn plugins that you can download today. Now, I did a top 3 not too long ago, and I have to thank a bunch of you that enlightened me to a bunch of AmpSyn plugins that I never tried before. Now, full disclosure, I'm a real amp guy, but because of this channel, I've been opening my mind up to plugins and modelers and all sorts of things like that, and I want to just experience as much as I can and share it with you. So thanks to your input, I tried out a whole bunch of AmpSyn plugins, and I've narrowed it down to my revised top 3 free AmpSyn plugins that you can download today, and I present that to you with a little twist. So that's just a little sampling of what we're going to hear today. Now, I do get it. My previous top 3, 2 of the 3 plugins were free versions of big brand paid plugins. And I get it. There's a lot of independent developers out there that are making some really cool stuff. And some of them are sort of, old classics that you guys have been using for a long time. So I did go into that list and I compiled this short list of 3, and I'm going to present it to you blind. Now, because some of you already know these plugins, maybe it's a chance to hear it again and not know what it is, though I'm curious if you do recognize your favorite plugin without getting to see it. Perhaps you can follow along in the comments in real time. We'll love to hear what you guys are thinking as this video progresses. I'm going to go in through and read all of the comments. Now, if you're new to AmpSyn plugins or looking for something new, we got a top 3 here for you to consider. And again, you can hear them blindly, you can hear the tones, and then at the end, I'll reveal the official top 3. Signal chain is really simple today. I'm going to use my Schecter C1 SLS Elite direct into the audio interface, and then I'll be interchanging the different plugins. By the way, very important to note is that there's no post-processing on these amps. If the plugin offers it, I use it. If it didn't have it, I didn't add anything else, with a minor exception is that all of the amps were sent to a bus where I have a single EQ on there where I basically just lop off a bit of the bottom, a bit of the top, and a little bit somewhere just below 2K. This is a standard curve that I start with when I mix all my guitars. In fact, I have a whole video about that. I will also link that down below. But aside from that, there's no post-processing, so what you hear is what you get. At number 3, we have the simplest plugin on the list. There's really not much to it. Now, it's based on a very popular high-gain amplifier, and they've got an overdrive pedal in the circuit to give it a little bit of a boost. There's not a lot to the plugin in terms of shaping tone. You've got 4 bands of EQ. You have 2 built-in cab IRs, and you can blend between them, or you can turn it on or off. Now, in the literature, it said that it had an IR loader, so I thought maybe you can load in third-party IRs, but I couldn't find a way to do that. Maybe they just meant loading the onboard ones, but like I said, you can turn them off. If you want to use your own cab IRs with a different plugin, that's certainly possible. But this is a nasty amplifier, a lot of high gain. There's certainly no clean in this amplifier, so if you're looking for clean, you're not going to get it out of this plugin. But what it gives you is high gain. It's got a lot of balls, and it sounds really good. So let's take another listen to it. So that sounds pretty good, right? You have any idea what it is? If you want to play the Oner system, let me know in real time. I'd love to read through the comments. Let me know about your guess about plugin number 3. So plugin number 2 is quite different than number 3. It offers a lot more versatility in terms of what's built into the plugin. Still, this is also based on a modern high gain metal amplifier. Not a lot of clean again in this amp, but if you want high gain, you got lots of it. What's really cool about this particular plugin is that you've got a cab section where you can move the microphones around and actually blend between 2 cabinets. I don't know if I'm giving too much away, but it's a great feature of the plugin. And you also have a pedal board. Now this company's gone on to make some really great plugins since then, but they've kept this one free, and it's a fully functioning, high quality amp sim plugin to this day, and definitely worth checking out. So let's take a listen to plugin number 2. Sounds pretty great, that's for sure. Definitely a very, very high quality amp sim plugin. If you've got any guesses, don't forget, leave them in the comments, and maybe while you're down there, hit the like button. Really helps out the channel. All right, so we're on to number 1. Now I have to say, number 1 and number 2, it was really, really close. Could have been a different day of the week and I might have flipped it, but number 1 offered something a little bit more than number 2. And what I really liked about it is it really sat in the mix pretty easily with minimal tweaking, a bit more versatility in terms of amps, then number 2, you actually have some clean tones in there, which is great. You have a couple different amplifiers. There's also a cabinet section. Now, it's not as in-depth as the cab section in plugin number 2, but it does give you a couple of different cabinets and some simple way to change the placement of the microphone. And there's also a pedal board and a tuner. But it's a great sounding amp plugin, quite versatile. If you only had one, of all the 3 on this list, if you could only have one, I don't see why you'd only need one because they're all free, but if you could only have one, this would probably be the one to get. And it's probably the reason why I have it sitting at number 1. All right, I'm about to reveal the top 3 free amp sim plugins that you can download for free. First, I have an honorable mention, and that would be Voxengo's Boogex. Now, this is a really interesting plugin. I couldn't quite get the high gain tones to where I wanted them for this particular example. It didn't quite get there, but it's a very versatile plugin. It's got a really amazing cab IR section. And if you like tweaking, you can really get into the curves of the cab IRs, plus the built-in amplifiers, lots of EQing in there. Very, very unique plugin, probably different than anything you've ever tried if you've never tried this particular one. So it's definitely good to have it around, even just for the cab IR section, because that's actually how I use it. So I will link that down below with the top 3, but I wanted to give an honorable mention to Voxengo's Boogex. So plugin number 3 on my list is Goblin from Aurora DSP. This is a fun little plugin. It's almost like a pedal plugin. It's really that simple, but it's actually based on the EVH 5153 amplifier. I'm not sure if it's the 50 watt or the 100 watt, but there's also the Plumes overdrive in the signal chain just to give it a little bit more boost. Like I told you before, there's not a lot to it. You've got a 4-band EQ, high, mid, and low, and then there's this air band just to get a little more air on top. You've got that slider that you can mix between the 2 onboard IRs, and you can turn it on and off. And that's really all there is to it, but it's a really great sounding plugin and definitely worth having in your arsenal of free amp sim plugins. So plugin number 2 is ML Sound Labs Roots. This was the first plugin offered by ML Sound Labs. Now, I've recently done a video with them, the Miko 2 Cab IR plugin, which is now a fixture here in my studio. But the early days of that company, some of the early days of their Cab IR technology built into this plugin. This was a collaboration with Ryan Fluff Bruce, the well-known YouTuber. Great plugin. It's also based on a 5153 as well. And as Fluff himself said, that there's no clean channel, and there is no clean channel in this plugin. Now, when you get the free plugin, there's an option to upgrade to other amplifiers, but the functionality of the first one is completely functional. There's nothing missing. It's, like I said, fully functional. Can I say that again? You've got amps, you've got the amazing cab IR section, the ability to blend between the two, move the microphones around, very, very versatile. And I love the pedal board as well. It just gives you a lot of versatility within the plugin. I really enjoyed using that one. Definitely worth downloading that for sure. And it just came a little bit short of number 1 for reasons I'll explain shortly. But at number 2, we got the ML Sound Labs Roots. how's your guessing going so far? Hopefully you're following along in the comments. But I'm ready to reveal the #1 free AmpSim plugin, at least according to me this week, because you know that's going to change. But anyways, at #1, I have Audio Singularity's Neuron Tube Debut. This plugin really snuck up on me. Really surprising plugin. I mean, it was really close with the ML Sound Labs, but it has a little bit more. I don't know much about the company. I went to their website. There's not a lot of information, but it doesn't matter because the plugin itself is fantastic. Now, just turning it on, it sat in the mix like right away with minimal tweaking, but there's a lot of versatility in this plugin. You have different amplifiers. You have the cab section. Now, the cab section doesn't really compare to what the ML Sound Labs plugin has to offer. But there's some variety there and the ability to change the distance of the microphone. So that'll give you enough to change up the tones a little bit. You do have a clean channel. It's unique to this particular plugin. We didn't get into cleans in this video, but it certainly has a wide range of tones. So if you could only have one, this would definitely be the one to consider because you've got different cabinets, different amplifiers. You've got the pedal board as well. You've got a tuner. It sounds great. It looks great. It's got a lot of versatility and I really enjoyed that plugin. And it's #1 on my top 3 free plugins that you can download today. So let's take a full listen to Neuron Tube from Audio Singularity. Well, there's my fresh and revised top 3 free AmpSim plugins that you can download today. I'm gonna have links to all of those plugins in the description. Now, I certainly hope you followed along and let me know your thoughts along the way. We'd love to see some guesses. That would be a lot of fun. But ultimately, would love to hear your thoughts on my top 3. Have I missed your favorite? I know I probably missed a lot of your favorites. Now, when I went and tried out a bunch of AmpSim plugins, some of them were PC only. I'm on a Mac and a modern Mac. And some of these plugins haven't been developed in a while and they weren't compatible. I tried to load them up and it just didn't work. So if it's been around for a while and it hasn't been developed, there's probably a good reason why it didn't make my list because it just didn't work. But I'm sure I've missed some out there between the 2 top 3s that I've done so far. Like I said, the other one's in the description. If I've missed your favorite that really needs to be considered for my next list, make sure to let me know in the comments. I would love to check it out. But if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you really want to support this channel, there's a number of ways you can do that. If you check the description, I've got all sorts of affiliate links. Click on those links. It doesn't cost you anything more, but it kicks back a little bit to the studio. Helps me continue making content just like this, and I really appreciate that. I'm on Patreon if you want to do a deeper dive with me. I've got merch. It's all in the description. It all helps, and I really appreciate that. But the easiest way to support this channel is simply by watching another video. And I've got one waiting for you right here. And remember, you don't need a band to rock and roll. And I look forward to seeing you again in another video.